Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis in the state of Tennessee in the county ship. Today is date early Monday morning, July the 18th, 2016 time, 4:06 a.m. First, say thank you to all my family, my support for your continued encouragement support. I continue to keep myself employed right here in this Memphis tri-state area. I continue to further my education at Monroe College online, pursuing my associate degree, studying business administration, concentration in marketing. So today in video, we're going to continue to talk about African traditional religion. The music you hear in the background, that's African hip hop on online radio station. And we know that African traditional religion is not a phrase, and it is being taught in institutions of higher learning, colleges, universities in sub-Saharan Africa. You can earn a bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD in African traditional religion. Where sub-Saharan Africa? Well, let's get the map. Turn that for you. Now this is a link. Okay, this is a map. This is a language map, but it shows the continent of Africa. Now this is the northern region of the continent of Africa. And it shows the groups of people that live on the continent of Africa. And the blue color is the Afro-Asiatic. The yellow color is the Nilo-Saharan. And the dark brown color, the dark orange is the Niger Congo A. Then the light orange color is Niger Congo B, Bantu. But it's showing you a little bit of sub-Saharan Africa. And this is another part of it's the southern part of the continent of Africa. And on the side there, it gives you the color code. The blue is the Afro-Asiatic. The yellow is the Nilo-Saharan. The dark orange color is the Niger Congo A. The light orange color is the Niger Congo B, the Bantu. The green color is the Koi and the Sand people. Those two groups of people. The lavender purple color is the Austronesian over there on the island of Madagascar. Now you know the Austronesian live in Indonesia, but they are settled in on the island of Madagascar. Now this is another map that shows you the continent of Africa. Now this is Niger-Congo language. The Niger-Congo language, your primary branch is Volta, Congo. The South Volta, Bantu, Bantu of the side Bantu, of the East Benu Congo, your West Benu Congo, and your Kwe, your North Volta, Kru, Sanufo, your Gur, Volta languages, your Adamawa, you Bunjin. Then you have your other primary language. The other primary branches, your Kordofan, your Mandi, your Atlantic, and down on the bottom there, when I copied this map, a little on the bottom got cut off. This is Dogon. Now this is another map that shows the Niger-Congo on the continent of Africa. Niger-Congo, your Atlantic group, your Wolof, your Fule, your Mandi, Bambara, Malinki, Mandingo, your Dayule, your Kru, your Gur, and also your Mori, that's in the Gur language, your Kwe, Bali, Akan, Iwi, your Dogon, your Ajor, your Adamawa, your Bunjin, Jibaye, Bende, Zandi, your Kordofanian, your non-Bantoid, Yaruba, Igbo, your Bantoid, Fang, Tiki, Lingale, Mungo and Kundu, Congo, Choki, Lube, Luganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Sukume, and Kikuyu, your Bantu, Swahili, Nakube, and Yanji, Bembe, Shone, Tsange, Northern Soto, Zulu, Southern Soto, Kosa, Tswane, and Dange, Umbundu. Now, I'm not going to take a whole lot of time on recent events. What happened on Sunday is an indication of a lack of leadership. Like I said on one of my previous videos, that's an indicator that there's a lack of leadership in the United States of America. You got a person who refers to themselves as being an African American, who was elected by a large number of white Americans, but also by a large majority of the African American community. And he's been in office for 7.5 years. Now, this is one thing that I point out. Just like when you had that town hall meeting, this is how you know when a person has not been doing absolutely nothing. When you had that town hall meeting, it was not necessary to have a town hall meeting. See, that's how you know you haven't been doing anything. Because when you've been doing something for constantly doing with all that you can, all that I can, doing everything possible about racial profiling, about in some communities, not all communities, where uh, you don't have enough police. You know, there's not enough police. There's a shortage, so the crime rate goes up. You understand? Murder, robbery, carjackings, rape, uh, you know, all the violent, non-violent drugs getting sold in the community and things of this nature. But see, that's an indication that you have not been doing anything, anything. You don't know nobody, and nobody knows you. See, nobody knows you. See, you can ask the average African American. See, when you've been doing something, and when you talk about, remember we were talking about the news media. This is how you know you haven't been doing anything. When you ask an African American man or woman, what influential white American do you know that has been involved in ongoing discussions and dialogues and has been involved in meetings with President Barack Hussein Obama? See, when you be on a news media and when you've been constantly doing something, the news media reported. It gets reported. See, this is how you know you haven't been doing anything. Nobody know you. Nobody in the African American community can name not one influential white person that has been involved in discussions, dialogues, anything with President Barack Obama and with other African American men and women. Because I don't know nobody. I don't know no influential white American. I don't. I don't know nobody that has been reported on the news in the news media as having ongoing dialogue or discussions with other with African American, not just with President Barack Obama, with other African American men and women about racial profiling, white polices, murdering African American men, women, and children. Nobody in the African American community know anybody, any influential white person. If you ask an average African American right now, name one Democrat, white Democrat, name one. Hillary Clinton. That's that's about all you know. You know the reason why? Because she be in the news media. Name one white Republican. Name one. Donald Trump. Why? Because he be in the news media. I guarantee if you ask any African American right now, name one white Republican other than Donald Trump. Uh, mm, name well, name one white Democrat other than Hillary Clinton. Uh, well, I don't. See, this is how you know that a person has not been doing anything about police shootings, white police shooting African American men and women and children. You haven't been doing nothing. See, that town hall meeting, that's the evidence that shows right there that you haven't been doing nothing, absolutely nothing. So when the events happened on Sunday, this past Sunday, see, all this shows is that it's a lack of leadership. There's no leadership. And then another thing that you have to understand is this. You know, the news media gonna try to make you feel sorry for the white police, but this is what you understand is it was deliberate. It was out of all the things, all the evidence that's coming out of this incident that happened on Sunday, because I don't have all the facts. I don't know the reason why this man did what he did. I don't know. He was killed. He was killed there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But this is one thing we do know. He was deliberate. And he was an African American, a male, African American male, and it was deliberate. But when you have a person that's a minority, an African American male, deliberately commits an act of this nature, they don't say too much. That's not a good thing on the president. Because, like I said, if you had been doing anything over the past seven and a half years, why would this man have this mentality that he has? You know why? The reason why he had a mentality he had, because it's a lack of leadership. And when you have somebody in the White House that's supposed to be an African American and you not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then you have incidents like this. You have incidents such as what happened on Sunday. See, it wasn't no accident. It was deliberate. It was deliberately done. So like I said, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. I just want to say one thing. Like I said on my previous video, we have a gang problem, street gang problem here in America, in the city of Chicago, and in the city of Los Angeles, city of Chicago, Illinois, and city of Los Angeles, California. You know, you got all this street gang stuff that goes around the country. Me, I'm not no gang member. I'm not no street gang member. I'm not involved in that. But we need to continue to stay in contact with the Niger Congo, because they don't need to be susceptible to this type of ignorance that's over here, and not be mistaken as being influenced by the ignorance that you see in America with this street gang nonsense, drug gang, or whatever you want to call it, street gang, drug gang, whatever you want to call it. And we need to stay in contact with the Niger Congo and keep them informed, and not just sit over there and continue to be disconnected from sub-Saharan Africa, from the Niger Congo. And we need to stay in contact with the Niger Congo and keep them informed, and especially pertaining to this street gang, drug gang, whatever you want to call it. All it is ignorance. And one more thing, for the young people, this stuff is wrong. It's not right. And to give you a basic example, a basic guide that you be online, you can go to Wikipedia. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with Wikipedia. It's a resource. It's a reference. You can refer to Wikipedia because it gets updated and things of this nature. But the thing about it, you can go to Wikipedia and you can look up argument. Look up argument. And what does it mean to argue? And go to Wikipedia and you can have a basic understanding. You get a basic meaning of why it's not right. So we're going to move on. We're going to get into our reading on African traditional religion. And we're going to continue our reading from the book titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omosaden Egwelelu and Dr. P. Adelumo Dopenu. And we're going to continue to read from the introduction. We're going to continue to read from the introduction when wrong nomenclature for the people's religion. 1-2. We don't see polytheism. Polytheism, properly defined, is the belief in more than one God. In other words, it is the worship of many gods. In any polytheistic system, there is usually an absence of a cohesive or unifying, transcendental, supernatural, supreme ultimate that is well illustrated in the Greek pantheon of the gods. Zeus was regarded as the father of the gods, the supreme and Olympian deity ruling in heaven. Below him were other gods like Poseidon, Apollo, Hephaestus, Hermes, Hera, Demeter, Athena, Artemis, and a host of others, but the gods, including Zeus, appear to be of the same rank and file, without any one of them having supreme and superlative authority over the others. Not only that, the gods all had human passions and competed with one another and with men. One could see the loves of Zeus and his debaucheries. He raped Ganymede and committed secret adulteries according to the poets. He was portrayed as being in fear and trembling lest the walls of Troy be destroyed against his will. Any other Olympian gods could act contrary to the will of Zeus, and at times he had to surrender to the sanctions of any other gods. In this Olympian situation, we have polytheism proper. With this basic meaning, we can say that polytheism is a feature of West African traditional religion. Why? This is because of the pantheon of the divinities. When we talk of pantheon, we imply pluralism or quantity. Thus, in West Africa, we have many divinities in the pantheon of each locality. As we shall see later, the divinities are many, although their number varies from locality to locality. Moreover, the divinities have powers over the created order. They also appear to be of the same rank and file, and any of them can interfere with the work of another. However, when we come to discuss the whole religion of West African people, we find that the religion is not polytheism. As we have pointed out above, polytheism implies the absence of a cohesive supernatural power or a unifying ultimate. But West African traditional religion does not lack this power. The cohesive factor of the religion is the supreme being, who is recognized everywhere in West Africa. Although given different names and concepts according to each area, the reason why we say that the supreme being is the cohesive, unifying, and supernatural ultimate that holds the religion together can be seen in an examination of the relationship of the divinities to the supreme God. This will be brought out clearly in its right place, but for our purpose, we can briefly point out that the divinities in West African belief have no absolute existence, since they were brought forth by God and owe their existence to Him. God, in consequence of this, is not of their rank and file, and he is wholly other and infinitely greater than they. He ordered all. He ordered all things visible and invisible, and in him all things live and have their being. The divinities only act for him, and they cannot serve their own capricious will apart from God. The position and functions of the divinities are meaningless. That is why all things are referred to him for sanction. Thus, apart from deity, the cults of the divinities are of no significance. D. Fetishism. The word fetishism is a term that has long been used as an unpleasant, abusive, rough description of West African traditional religion. The word originated from the early Portuguese traders and travelers in West Africa. They saw certain objects, charms, amulets, mascots, talismans worn by the West African peoples. They also realized that such objects were similar to the amulets, charms, and talismans they knew in their country. They therefore called these things fetish, fetico, or charm. Fetico is a word derived from the Latin factitious, meaning magically artful. From the Portuguese, the word entered into French and English vocabularies and was spelt fetiche and fetish, respectively. Since then, the word fetishism has been widely used to describe African religion and other things connected with it. It is used in a bad sense to describe the so-called primitive religions. Fetishism, in the real sense of it, is like an idol, the work of men's hands. It is a made thing. Some writers have shown that it is not appropriate as a description of religion in West Africa. E.G. Perenda says that the religion is not just the worship of the work of men's hands, and that no heathen in his blindness bow down to wood, stone, or a made thing. He really worships a spiritual being who is thought to make the material object his abode. R.S. Rattray has also criticized the use of the word to describe West African religion. He says that many things that have been described as fetishes or fetishism really inadequately belong to the realm of magic. For this reason, fetishism mostly describes that aspect of religion which is mostly based upon magic and charms, things that are made with men's hands. In this sense, some elements of fetishism can be found in West African religion. This is because the practice of magic and medicine forms an integral element in the structure of the religion. But since magic and medicine do not make a comprehensive and suitable name for West African religion, it follows logically that fetishism cannot be the real title of the religion. It is a most inappropriate term to describe West African religion. The religion is not just magic and medicine. West African peoples can distinguish between what is made and what is ritual, and charm, in the sense that it is a made thing, should not be confused with religion, in which man recognizes the divine being, the determiner of destiny, the spiritual reality, who is not made, and in whom man puts all his hopes and reposes his indubitably confidence. Since the use of the word fetish or fetishism is restricted to charms, amulets, talismans, mascots, magic, and medicine, it is better to use these very words as the appropriate terms for the various elements that they describe. These elements are found in almost all religions. Fetishism is therefore not a monopoly of any religion. We're going to stop right there. And we just got through reading from the introduction. Wrong nomenclature for the people's religion. And we read from the book titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omasede Emalelu and Dr. P. Adelumo Dopelu. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled African Traditional Religion, a Definition, written by Dr. E. Baloja Adowu. And we're reading from chapter 4, The Nature of African Traditional Religion. And we're in number 1, Errors of Terminology. On H, fetishism. This is another word which has made a curious departure from its original meaning. The Encyclopedia of Religion and Ethics says Central Africa is the promised land of fetishism. Yet the Negro, according to a statement made by Albert Revile, which seems to be well founded, distinguishes clearly between fetishes, which he believes to be inhabited by a spirit, and amulets which he wears about his person, but does not worship, even when they reproduce the form of a living being. As a matter of fact, fetishism is a direct antecedent of idolatry and is everywhere coexisting with it. The fetish and the idol are both conceived as the body of a spirit. They are used for the same purposes and employed under the same conditions. Perhaps the author would not have been so confused if he were writing today. From the illustration that he quotes, he does not seem to know the difference between emblems or symbols and fetishes, as any cult object which has any creaturely shape is to him automatically a fetish. Edward B. Tyler traces the history of the word from the time when it was first used by the Portuguese, with particular reference to West Africa. Centuries ago, The Portuguese in West Africa, noticing the veneration paid by the Negroes to certain objects such as trees, fish, plants, idols. Publishes claws of beasts, sticks, and so forth. Very compound those objects. Excuse me, fairly compare those objects to the amulets or talismans with which they themselves were familiar, and called them fetico or charm, a word derived from Latin factitious, word from the Portuguese and spelt it fetish. Although, curiously enough, both languages had already possessed the word for ages in a different sense. Old French, fetus, well made, beautiful, which Old English adopted as fetus, well made, near. The word fetichisme was introduced as a general descriptive term for the African worship of material and terrestrial objects, and it passed through Comte's use of it to denote a general theory of primitive religion in which external objects are regarded as animated by life analogous to man's. Excuse me. Tyler dropped fetishism in favor of his own animism and would confine the word to that subordinate department which it properly belonged to, namely the doctrine of spirits embodied in or attracted or attached to or conveying influence through certain material objects. Fetishism will be taken as including the worship of uh, the worship of stocks and stones, and thence it passes by an imperceptible graduation into idolatry. At this time of the day, in the progress and development of researches in the study of religion, there should be no need to engage in what we amount to flogging a dead horse by commenting on certain elements in the above quotation. But there is an inveterate streak in most investigators which produces the tendency to persist in the use of certain terms, however outmoded they may have become, perhaps without bothering themselves about their appropriateness or otherwise. The quotation immediately above and what follows show a confusion in thinking which, as we have observed earlier, results from inadequate data, ignorance, or prejudice. In the quotation we have, for example, such phrases as the veneration paid by the Negroes to certain objects such as trees, pebbles, claws of beasts, sticks, and so forth, that the Portuguese fairly compared these objects to their own amulets or talismans. The African worship in terrestrial objects and worship of stocks and stones. All these show inadequate grasp of the fundamentals of African worship and betray the error of taking appearance for reality. Excuse me. the shadow for the substance. It is, in fact, the reason why in certain minds the frontier between what is sweepingly called idolatry and what is generally designated fetishism is ill-defined. If it is defined at all, there continues to be a succession of errors to the notion that Africa is the land governed by insensible fetish. E. Uh, E. Jeffrey Verinder makes a collection of authors who are addicted to the word fetishism or fetish and their expressions. Old Bozeman said, they cry out, let us make fetishy, by which they express as much as, let us perform our religious worship. But one is surprised to find Sir James Fraser in our century speaking of the fetish king of West Africa, when he means a religious head as distinct from a civil ruler. And Mary Kingsley went on to say, when I say fetish or juju, I mean the religion of the natives of West Africa. Other writers are even more careless. Nassau, a missionary writer on Central Africa, used the word fetish so widely that he even wrote of a fetish prayer. Monteiro, writing on the Congo, spoke of undergoing fetish as taking an oath. And across the other side of the continent, Roscoe uses fetish of the Baganda emblems of gods, of medical preparation, and of a fetish of herbs used by an array on the warpath, used by an army on the warpath. In Ashanti, R.S. Rattray has attacked the use of the words fetish and fetishism as they are commonly used to embrace all that is religion in Africa. In Religion and Art in Ashanti, he sets out the difference between religion and fetish according to African, in particular Ashanti, belief. He states that most of what is usually listed under fetishes or fetishism will be emphatically repudiated as coming under the category of symbol magic by every African with any knowledge of his own creed. If any of these definitions, Tyler's, were to be accepted for Ashanti, then we should be compelled to accept the unsatisfactory appellation fetishism to describe also the higher Ashanti religious beliefs, the cult of the supreme being when his great spirit manifests itself through some natural objects will become fetishism. The lesser gods of Bosom will be forced into the distinct category of summer. The hallowed bones of the dead kings and all the fine traits in the worship of ancestors will become fetishes. And fetish worship, clearly then there is something wrong with these definitions. Rattray summarizes his statement of the difference between religion, including cult objects, and fetish as follows. Fetishes may form part of an emblem of God, but fetish and God are in themselves distinct and are so regarded by the Ashanti. The main power or the most important spirit in a God comes directly or indirectly from Inyami, the supreme God, whereas the power or spirit in a fetish comes from plants or trees and sometimes directly or indirectly from fairies, forest monsters, witches, or for some sort of unholy contact with the dead. And God is the God of the many, the family, the clan, or the nation. A fetish is generally personal to its own owner. It is important to remember what H.W. Fowler says of the word fetish or fetishy, though it has the air of a mysterious barbarian word. It is in reality the same as fictitious and means like an idol, the work of man's hands, a man thing. This is in line with its history as ordered, as outlined by title. Fetishes are made things, unlike the divine being in whom Africans believe and repose their confidence. Africans are not so naive as not to know the difference between a thing that is made and a spiritual reality who is the determiner of destiny. What P.A. Talbot says about southern Nigeria will apply throughout Africa. True fetishism, in which the object of worship is not symbolic but is worship for itself and not as connected with or representing a deity or spirit, is absent from this country. Fetishism as a general description for religion in Africa results from a misuse or abuse of the word and it is most inappropriate. We're gonna stop right there. And we've been reading from chapter 4, the nature of African traditional religion. And we've been reading from number 1, the errors of terminology. And we just got to reading the fetishism. And we've been reading from the book titled African Traditional Religion, a definition written by Dr. E. Oloja Adowu. Now we're going to continue our read. We're going to be reading from the book titled African Religions and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M.B. And we're reading from chapter 15, Specialists, Medicine Men, Rainmakers, Kings, and Priests. death of a ruler is naturally a great event for his nation. Some societies like the Banyoro, Shone, Navidu, Amhare, and others formerly performed ritual killing of their rulers when these grew old, became sick, were injured, had fulfilled their period of reign, or became unsatisfactory. The method of killing was through poisoning, strangling, suffocation, or suicide. This practice is reported all over Africa. In some societies, for instance, the Baganda, Zulu, Amhare, Ngoni, Gogo, Shilluk, the death of the king is kept secret for any period from a few days to 1 or more years, or until the new one is chosen and installed, or until after the burial is over, or the corpse has been smoked, as in the Congo. Since the king is sacred, his death is not spoken of in a normal manner. Among the Banyoro, the people say, the milk is spilled. The Amhare say, the air at this season is evil towards kings. When people simply say that he has returned to the sky, or gone up, or fallen sick, the ruler's death brings the rhythms of life to a standstill, or upsets it for a while. Work stops among the Tswane, Baganda, Banyoro, mating among men and animals in stock, Burundi, and Kori, and Banyarwanda, and a time of complete lawlessness, anarchy, and chaos follows. So look, Lunde, Amhare, Balube, and others. It was also formerly the custom to provide company and food for the departed ruler, for which reason his wives, servants, slaves, some subject cattle, prisoners would be killed and buried with him. For instance, among the Baganda, Shilluk, Kapeli, and Yamwezi, since the health and prosperity of the king symbolized the welfare of the nation, it is understandable that his death will bring a complete disruption to life, and only a new ruler will both restore order and symbolize normality once more. As life for the king continues in the hereafter, he must therefore be provided with wives, servants, and food so that he can continue to enjoy his privileged position in the spirit world. Elaborate funeral rites will be performed, but in some societies, the departed ruler is disposed of secretly or quietly. Succession procedures differ considerably all over Africa. The ruler's son, daughter, brother, nephew, mother, uncle, other member of the royal relative may succeed him. In some societies, the new ruler is chosen by a council, chief ministries, or in consultation with the spirits of the departed rulers. Many customs and ceremonies are followed at the coronation of the new ruler. Erskine gives a good summary of these, which include items like ceremonies symbolizing death and rebirth, Shaluk, the king wearing special robes, Baganda, and Hare, Banyoro, and many others, giving a new name to the ruler, Amhare, Gala, and Tunge, ritual washing or sprinkling, Hase, Shaluk, or Congo, anointing the king with oil or clay, Amhare, Banyoro, and Kori, and others, seating him on a throne, a very widespread practice, crowning him also fairly common, making human sacrifices, Shaluk, Baganda, and others, killing his relatives who might contend the throne, Gala, and Hare, Banyoro, Burundi, and rulers of Benin and Nigeria, in festivals where a sacred fire is kept. It is extinguished at the death of one ruler and relit at the coronation of another. In some societies like the Shalluk and Capelli, people make fun of the king, jeer at him, and cause him to face difficulties for a while after his coronation in order to teach him humility. Rulers have their insignia, which also reflect the way people regard them. At their coronation, Baganda and Hare Shaluk and other kings are made to Mount Royal Hills, a symbol of their cosmic ascension, showing that they stand now at the top and as head of their nation. For their scepter, they carry twig, spears, staff, fork, two-bladed sword, lance, or hoe. In most societies, their robes are made of or include leopard or lion skin. These animals symbolize power and strength. Royal drums are reported from all over Africa and are regarded as sacred so that they are played only on certain occasions or to announce important messages and are kept in sacred houses. Thrones vary considerably in size, shape, and composition. Some are covered with gold, beads, ostrich, or other feathers, silk, horns, bark cloth, beads. Some are portable and others are highly elevated. Some are simple, earthen platform, perhaps covered with lion or leopard skin. The keeping of sacred fire is reported in many African societies and is associated with the king or ruler. At the death of one ruler, this fire is extinguished but relit when the new ruler is installed. Banyoro, Shaluk, Amhare, and others. That fire must be kept burning perpetually during the reign of a given king, and in some society, it is the new ruler who lights the new fire. In many areas, rulers also have sacred council, Landa, Puri, Gogo, Hase, Shone, Tiswane, and others. These are used for meat, milk, sacrifice, and often their hide will be used to wrap the body of the dead ruler. Fire and cattle may not be part of the ruler's insignia as such, but they are clearly connected with his welfare and position. Fire symbolizes life, continuity, and vitality. Its burning is a symbol of the prosperity of the ruler and his people. Cattle are symbols of providence, food, drink, property, and means of keeping in touch with the spirit world through sacrificing them and wrapping the ruler's corpse in them. The king's blood, which is the very essence of his life and therefore that of his nation, must not be shed at all. In many societies all over Africa observe this taboo. The rulers themselves must also observe various taboos, the breaking of which might disqualify them from office. As the kings, queens, chiefs, and other rulers are given this sacred position and regard, those related to them are also treated with special respect. The queen enjoys great esteem among the Amharic, Lavidu, and others, and can be the wife, sister, or mother of the reigning ruler. His mother, who might be the real biological mother or another woman from among the royal members or an appointed one, may also wield great influence as among the Zulu and Amharic. In some societies, the king has to marry an agnatic sister, the Shalunde, Banyawanda, and others. Other important officials include sub-chiefs, counselors, advisors, governors, instructors, and religious personages like priests and diviners. It is through these that the ruler manages to maintain his authority over the kingdom, know what is going on, be reachable by his subjects, keep his position, and be in contact with the spiritual world. Such then is the picture of the person in office of traditional rulers, some of whom are men and others women. Colonial administration generally tended to incorporate traditional rulers into its political structure. Their powers and charismatic image decreased considerably. In some cases, the colonial governments did away altogether with traditional rulers, and this not always peacefully. The office of the king has survived in some societies into the modern independent African states, with some rulers taking on leading positions. For example, when Uganda became independent in 1962, the then king of the Buganda became the president of Uganda until 1966. And Seretse Khame became head of his country, Botswana, when it regained independence in 1966. Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia is carrying on perhaps the longest line of rulers in the world. The modern trend, however, is towards the dissolution of traditional monarchs in Africa, and what we have described above in the present tense does not apply in many situations or rely in a modified form. The dissolution or weakening of the office of traditional rulers must naturally generate tension, if not open clash between them with their supporters on the one hand, and African statesmen who think in terms of nationhood rather than local kingdom on the other. The office of the traditional monarch is losing its sacredness and seems to be degenerating to the unenviable point of being a political anachronism. and an economic debit. This fate of African rulers is certainly a worldwide fate and reflects the feeling that perhaps man has had enough of traditional monarchs whose history is not always the brightest part of their image. Few will, therefore, bemoan the end of traditional monarchs if their office can be superseded by a new and more relevant, but not necessarily less corrupt political structures. Sacred rulers are intimately bound up with the Zamani period, and they have become too heavy to be lifted into the orbit of the future dimension of time, which African peoples have discovered and began to extend. Their strength lay or lies in the religious myths, traditions, and taboo that surround them, all of which are Zamani oriented. And without a myth of the future, these rulers have neither the place nor the respect they have enjoyed throughout the history of their people. Changing concepts of time, perhaps more than those of politics, are the main forces working against sacred rulers. If the office and position of these rulers had messianic elements, the sacred rulers to enter into the stream of modern African history. But since the future dimension of time in Africa's side was so short, there could have been no messianic hope, and our traditional rulers are rooted only in the Susu are only rooted in the Sese and Zemana period. The most they can now expect is that with the dissolution of diminution of their office, a strong mythology will almost certainly build around them. And in Western Africa, they will probably last longer than elsewhere. Our element of interest would be to study religious changes of the beliefs and practices which, in traditional life, had evolved around the person and office of the sacred rulers, and which must be undermined once the central figure of their structure is removed or weak. Perhaps a revival or creation of kingly cults will evolve in the society's concern, incorporating dead, deported, or demoted kings and cherishing some myths about them. But the traditional activities associated with royal events and personages will certainly die out or be replaced by modern national events and leaders. Personality cults seem to be ingrained in African attitudes and feelings, and it is easier to transpose them to new situations than to remove them. I'm going to stop right there. And we've been reading from chapter 15, specialists, medicine men, rainmakers, kings, and priests. I've been reading from the book titled African Religions and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S.M. Beebe. Now we're going to continue our read from the book titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S.M. Beebe. We're going to continue to read from chapter 4. Well, powerful, powerful, powerful. 10 reading part 4. We're going to be reading number 14, the creation and original state of man. Almost every African people has one or more creation stories. The concepts contained in these myths cover a wide range, and it is helpful to group and consider them under different headings. The creation of man in relation to that of other things. According to many stories, the creation of man is placed at or towards the end of the creation of all things. I have not come across any myth which places man as the first or earliest creature. These stories point out also that man was created as husband and wife, and a number of them give the names of the first human beings. In the Alleluia story, it is told that God created man so that the sun will have someone for whom to shine. Afterwards, he created plants, animals, and birds to provide food for man. The first man was called Nwambu, and his wife, Sile, whom God created so that man would have someone with whom to talk. In the Vagusu version, the man is known as Yumugume, and the woman as Malava. The Bambuti narrate that God created the earth and heavens, his throne which was below, then water, trees, man, and animals. The men were a young man called Mupi and his wife Utah. In another version, these two originated or came from God and peopled the world, starting with the pygmies themselves. In the Banyan Wonder story, the first man is known as Kazikamutu, a name which means the root of men. He begat 3 sons, Gugutu, Gatusi, Gahutu, and Gatwe, who now represent the 3 racial social classes in the country. The Kaundi believed that God placed one man and one woman upon the earth in the beginning. In the Basoge Song of Creation, which we have already quoted in full on page 46, God is represented as creating the first man and giving him a wife in order that she may bear children. He blesses the earth in which men live. The Lozai narrate that the first man, Kanunu, was created after all. Other things that had been created, and that God was then still on the earth when he formed different peoples with their different customs. customs, languages, and manners. The Lubari tell us that in his transcendent aspect, God created the first men long, long ago and put them on earth. They were called Jibu Rakboro, which means the person coming from the sky, and Mimi, which means the person who came along. They became a son and a daughter, who in turn bore male and female children, and so mankind increased upon the earth. In the Mendi story, it is narrated that God made all things first, and afterwards he created men, both husband and wife. According to the Miru, God made first a boy, but since he had nobody else with whom to play, he told God that he was not satisfied, so a girl came out. They played together. A similar story is told among the Nandi that God made a small man child and sought someone with whom this man child would live. The story goes on to say, and he killed, put to sleep that man, and took out one of his ribs, from which he made a girl who grew up and bore children. But this act of bearing children annoyed God, whom then told the couple, I have given you death and health, and said, go. The Zulus have several versions of their creation myth, but according to the husband appeared first, followed by the wife. Men sprang from God as if he had made them because he existed before them. God begat men. He gave them being. He begat them. Some say that God split a stone in two, and out came the first men. Others say that men came out of a bed of reeds where we had our origin. This bed swelled, and when it had burst, they came out. And afterwards came cattle and other animals. According to the Zulu, the first men came out as complete and perfected beings. Perfected beings. We're going to stop right there. And we just got to read part 4. Number 14, the creation. Part 4, God and man. Number 14, the creation and original state of man. And we just got to read from the book titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M. Beebe. When we end today's video, we're going to still study our Niger Congo languages. Our Niger Congo language. We're still studying all our Niger Congo language. And we're going to continue with our Bambari, Mandingo, and Kosi. Now, for anybody that's listening, you can, there's a website that you can go to where you can get a basic understanding of the Mandingo. You can go to Mansete, it's MANSATA .wikifoundry.com. Learn to speak Mandingo. Now we don't spend a whole lot of time. Okay? Greetings. Hey now. Say good morning. Asame. Good day to you. Taloyi. Daye. You are well. Animbare. Thank you. Ebarike. Come in. Tamba name. Let me go back up here. To say farewell. Fubatito. Good morning. Isame. Isame. Good afternoon. Atinyang. Good evening. Iwulari. Good night. Suto Yidaye. How are you? Kora Tanati. Kairadi. How is it? How are you? Abi Inyadi. I am fine. Tinati. How if your family? Sumoli. They are fine. Sumolu Katu. I will tell them. Mbe Foli. When do we meet again? Wati Tumula. Tumali. Mbe Bene Kutin. And we're going to start right there. We're going to go over to the Learn Bambare. We just got to speak of Mandingo. So let's go over to Bambare. You go to 101languages.net. 101languages.net. And you can learn Bambare 101. Hello anytime. Anytime of day. Hello. Anisi. How are you? Are you well to one person? Akakini way. How are you? Are you well? Akakini. Fine, thank you. Kini Toro. T Ko. T Taneti. What is your first name? Atogo. What is your last name? Ajamu. My name is Nitogo. Thank you. Anisi. You're welcome. Basiti. Yes. Awo. No. Aya. Excuse me. Getting attention or being part. Ayi. Akito. I'm sorry. Ayafe Inme. Goodbye. K-I'm-D. Goodbye. Inform. Entare. And we're going to stop right there. When I learn Bambari, it's www.101languages.net. Bambari. Now let's go over to I learn Kosa on ilanguage.org. Kosa. Now we're gonna go over here. All right, let's go over to vocabulary. Okay. Now we're on ilanguages.org. We're on vocabulary. We're on ilanguages.org. Coast. And go down there where it says we're on vocabulary. Go down where it says words related to family and relatives. And on ilanguages.org and also on Learn Coast. one-on-one. It's got the speaker. Got the speaker thing where it'll say a word for you. Okay, we on the vocabulary. And like I said, we scroll down where it says words related to family and relatives. Boy, mfana, son, nyana, brother, mtawetu, man, indoda, father, utata, grandfather, tatumkulu, girl, intumbazana, daughter, intombi, sister, udadawetu, woman, umfazi, mother, umama, grandmother, umakula. Now let's go over here on learn one-on-one. Scroll down. We're on adjectives. Learn one-on-one. We're on adjectives. Scroll down. Where it says the English. Kosa. Hi. Molo. How are you? Kujani. I'm good, thank you. In the Billy and Gosa. And you? Mjani Wayna. What is your name? Ugabani Igama Lako. My name is Miley. Igamalan Indagu Maya. Nice to meet you. Who can be down the line now? What? We gonna get ready to end right there. We're gonna get ready to end today's video. And again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also on BrightShine, live right here in the city of Memphis. In the state of Tennessee is in the county of Shelby. Thank all my fans, my support for your continued encouragement and support. We'll continue to work on my entertainment, my music interest. And take care of yourself. And I wish each and every one of you the very best, and also for we live day. And irregardless what happens in today's society, you know what I'm saying? You know, we just got to read our African traditional religion. We know that there's a supreme being. I always keep that in mind, that there's a supreme being. Keep that in your mind. And don't let people, you know, don't be fooled by individuals who try to claim that they doing this and that, such as individuals like sitting up in the White House claiming that they doing this that when they're not doing anything, and continue to stand up for your rights, for your civil rights and your human rights. And until the next video, take care of yourself with each and every one of your best.
Exposed.